dawn of the computer age. It's hard to believe, but this was the state of the art in computers just a few decades ago.
Send her address to electro.
In 1952, the public's perception of a computer was likely to look something like this refugee from a recycling plant. But in reality, the early computer was bulky, slow, and full of vacuum tubes that had a habit of burning out at the wrong time. However, scientists knew the potential of these computers would soon be realized. So with continued modifications over the past 30 years, scientists have been able to reduce the size of a computer, which once filled a 20 by 30 room, into a pocket computer, which now fits into the palm of my hand. As they become cheaper, computers are becoming more and more common. You see them when you bank, shop, fill up for gasoline, and of course the big impact is on games. The most common contact most of us have with computers nowadays are with video games like Space Invaders. And even though it's an exciting game, there are more sophisticated home computers, which are not only recreational, but also educational.
I-N-E. You are correct. Next spell, gasoline.
Computers can take the form of this child's spelling toy to entire departments at colleges and universities devoted to computer science.
The students now have the opportunity on working on one of 17 video display terminals, one of 3 printing terminals, and they also have the opportunity to use 2 remote batch terminal systems.
At San Diego City College, for example, courses in computer programming are attracting more and more students.
Well, I think we're at the frontier of the art in computing here at City College. Our machines can work either as computers by themselves. These are intelligent, programmable computers that can do almost anything that you would need in a small company environment.
Add on any program with the words Pro, P-R-O, and I ask it to print it, and it'll print out all of the programs that begin with P-R-O, and therefore we can check. The P-R-O is for procedures, and we can check the procedures to see that we're using the right ones. It's a very interesting field. There's a lot of different, it's always changing and it's always something new, and it gives me a chance to keep on learning.
It's very useful in the future. Seem like they use computer in everything.
In part 2 of our special series, we'll show you how computers are having a major influence on the business world and even at home. Jesse Macias, News 8, San Diego City College Computer Lab. When you look at computers, you're looking at a billion-dollar industry. And the reason for this computer explosion is this tiny integrated circuit, which now has the capacity to store thousands upon thousands of pieces of information.
The latest model computers are quoted in billions of a second or trillions of a second.
And the need for big businesses to have more sophisticated computers, which can handle abstract problems, is being met by the Timeshare Corporation of San Diego.
We're on the leading edge of technology, and we provide services that are way beyond payroll. Like I use the term decision support. It's actually a navigational tool to guide a manager through the day-to-day business and help him make decisions in a better manner. It's a more refined form of decision making.
And even computers for home use are in big demand.
A lot of the same things apply, like you may have someone in the home that wants to figure out taxes or do budgeting or so forth in the home, just like they'd be doing it in the business. So a lot of the same programs can apply.
The systems to figure out our taxes, balance our checkbooks, and generally run our economic lives in computer language are called programs. The secret to storing these programs rests in this plain-looking piece of plastic called a diskette. According to the home computer companies, all you have to do is insert the disk into this box, and all your financial problems will be greatly simplified. But first, you have to learn to use the computer, which is no simple task. The store we visited has a classroom in the back with a large screen TV announcing instructions to these 2 intense-looking women. All this for the privilege of paying about $2,000 for a computer system the manufacturer claims will soon revolutionize American life.
One of the interesting features of this Apple computer is that you can program it for a variety of educational exercises. This one has United States history. It's programmed for about 50 questions, and let's see how we do. True or false? Contrary to popular belief, Davy Crockett was not at the Alamo when it fell to the Mexicans in 1836. Well, he was there, so that's false. Punch that in, and it says that is correct.
With so many computers doing so much, are we becoming a society totally dependent on computers?
No, I don't feel so. Society today is so complex and there's so much information, even on an international scale, that's floating around. We need to learn to utilize computers more and more in order to process that data and refine our decisions in our day-to-day life.
The thing about computers is that I think there's some sort of a stigma is the idea of a large central computer, which is sort of like Big Brother, and the computer knows everything about you, and then the government can at any time step in and take control over some portion of your life because there's this lack of privacy. And I think with the small computers that are individually owned, that's not really a thing to worry about.
In part 3 of our special series, we'll show you how computers are actually saving lives. This is what a patient sees in an intensive care unit at any major hospital. The treatment of each patient may require any of hundreds of medical facts which are needed instantaneously. In this life or death situation, medical experts would be hard-pressed to look up each patient's written record in an emergency.
In the past, we had to calculate the dosage of these drugs by hand. Computer now allows us to do that in a very quick fashion.
At the University Hospital Burn Unit, medical technicians can quickly establish exactly what the patient's needs are.
We want 5 micrograms per kilo. It'll tell us that we have to give them 18 cc's per hour, and it shows us here whether we're still in the beta range.
Even blood counts, which used to take up valuable lab hours, are now done in seconds thanks to medical computers.
Well, it tells the white count, the red count, the hemoglobin, hematocrit, MCV, MCH, MCHG, and the platelet count.
Blow it all out.
And now, to minimize surgical risks, patients are given a test which is simple to administer, but effective in revealing any hidden respiratory diseases.
I can't look at the flow or the pressure curves as they come off the instruments and tell anything about them. I have to have computing to make those signals mean anything, or else sit down with a pencil and paper and do it, which is not very efficient in this day and age.
There's a tremendous amount of information that's generated in a hospital such as this, and it's very difficult to keep it all straight. And computers have had a tremendous impact in terms of ordering and collating all the information that's generated here.
And probably the most dramatic evidence of how computers are saving lives is in the nuclear science lab. What you're seeing is a computer picture of a human heart at work. This man is suspected of having a serious heart disease. In the past, he would have had to undergo a traumatic surgical procedure to determine the extent of his heart problem. Today, computers are taking those risks away.
Now, the computer will convert the information that we are acquiring with the scintillation camera to pictures which we can look at and assess whether the patient is responding normally to the exercise stress, or as we'll look at a patient who responds abnormally to stress, indicating a high likelihood of coronary artery disease.
And this is all possible then with the computers?
The computer is the key to the whole technique.
Now, the heart is beating 3 times faster in this image as compared with the image on the left, but the computer has actually changed the heart rate so that we see the heart as if it were beating together. Now, this is what we expect to see in the normal patient without heart disease. This is a 39-year-old basketball coach who found it very difficult to run down the basketball court and keep up with his players. His heart function deteriorates. It is not beating at the same time as his heart is beating at rest, and it is not beating as vigorously, characteristic of underlying coronary artery disease.
Even with all this progress, medical experts concede they still face a vast ocean of unsolved medical problems which will continue to challenge man and machine. But the road to discovery, at least, has been opened. Jesse Macias, News 8, University Hospital.